Part 33. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 321. Is this Transformers? Looks pretty good. What, you're interested? Yahei was full of energy, and seemed to have encountered something good, and he seemed very happy. Is talking with Luo Feng, Hong Hui, and others, talking about the many methods of body polishing, and the ultimate magic power of the body. There is also a live broadcast room on the table. This doesn't open up the secret world of silicon-based life like Transformers. So, I also took a few looks. And seeing the silky and smooth transformation of the Transformers, Xiao Yan sighed in admiration. Hearing Yahei ask, Xiao Yan nodded. I watched this kind of large-scale robot anime when I was a kid before I traveled to the alien Fire continent. Of course you're interested in these things, kids. And this silicon-based life, what interests me the most is their life form. As if thinking of something, Xiao Yan narrowed his 820 eyes and smiled. I'm just curious about what kind of substance the so-called spark source relies on to give life to electronic devices. Moreover, if it is an electronic device made of extraordinary metal, it cannot be ignited into a transformer. Hey, what are you doing with this? When Stark brings this back, the Origin Research Institute will study it. Zhang Hulan ate and drank enough, making up for the fasting of the past few days. Moreover, if it were me, I would never let my mobile phone, computer, and other electronic devices become Transformers' life. After all, there's so many browsing histories on it. If it's exposed or something, thinking about it, it feels even more terrifying than Sister Bauer. After all, for many people, keeping their innocence is more important than life. Cut. Everyone despised Zhang Hulan's crooked remarks. You should be like you. By the way, if you have time later, you will go to the Triple Alliance and the Han Empire to have fun. Especially when you are moved. Seeing Yahei talking about himself, he looked at him. Brother Yahei, why do you say that? The heavenly demon Martin lay on the head of the little tiger and asked suspiciously. Yahei sighed, and the secret path was still not adapted to the cultivation of the origin, so he said. You must not think that the winter curtain activities, a batch of red envelope benefits, just think that cultivation is enough. That's what you thought before. He nodded, he really thought so. Welfare red envelopes, as well as boss settlement, the rewards given are very rich. Whether it's generic consumables points, or all kinds of treasures and props, panacea, there is no shortage of them. So, I've been in retreat for the past few days, digesting these things. And also gave some elixir for my father and grandfather to use. And he still has a lot of items left, this time he practiced, ignoring the others. In a few months, he will definitely be able to cultivate to at least an extraordinary 5th or 6th order. Well, it seems that the transcendent 5th and 6th order is a very low-level appearance. But the combat power is against the weak galaxy-level combat power, and the explosion of stars is not a problem. Put it in your own world, that is, you can go sideways. And this only takes a little time to achieve. As for the so-called family, it is not in my eyes. Don't think about it like you used to. But why did Yahei let himself not waste time in retreat? I'll tell you. Xiao Yan smiled and took a sip of spirit wine. After all, I have just arrived, and some of my thoughts have not yet been transformed. Moving, when it comes to spiritual practice, retreat is not closed like you do. Retreat, go to the Tower of Origin, where you spend points and enjoy the top retreat treatment. Time, rules, jurisprudence, etc., that's the best enjoyment. You are in retreat at home for a few days. I spend some points, and I may have been in retreat for a few years, decades, in the origin. Therefore, Yahei said that earning points is the best way to improve. If you read a violent novel, Go to Feel a Novel Network. Otherwise, compared to other raters, you will be one step slower, step by step. And, maybe right now, maybe 10 days and half a month. Among the origins, single-level origin raters should have sprung up like mushrooms after a rain. If we don't try to catch up, spend points to buy time, that's just going to be left behind, and you can't keep up with the pace of the big army. But that's too expensive, isn't it? Pouting, he still knows about the Tower of Origin. The Tower of Origin, with the library next to it. It was the holy place of cultivation of the Origin heavens. He went to experience it once. But the points are gone, just like flowing water. It hurts. There is a reason why you are expensive. Besides, as long as you are diligent and hurry up, the Liver Secret Realm Quest 0. When you're lucky, you get some benefits when you are active. The Tower of Consumption Origin is still affordable. Besides, do you still want to be like Han Li, who has been locked up at home for more than a decade, or even decades? The result of getting out of the customs is just a little bit of growth. But at this time, we are all at least single-level foundations. You're good, what kind of analogy do you have with me? Han Li complained, but he was non-committal. After all, before I entered this source, I was indeed like this. In other words, before entering the origin, most people cultivated in this way. The treasure of the Tower of Origin, that is unthinkable. So, you should also remember to actively participate in some of the activities that Yehei just mentioned. As for the Triple Alliance he mentioned, there is also the Han Empire. It's because they've just joined, and it's a monthly boss event just before the anniversary. With their strength, they naturally can't conquer it. The Triple Alliance may cost a little money, but the Han Empire is absolutely not. And the rewards for this kind of activity are extremely rich. Forces from all walks of life, they all eat by themselves, how can they be willing to let others share the profits? Therefore, the scattered raiders, if they can rub the boss, they can pass the settlement of good rewards. This is also the Triple Alliance and the Han Empire, selling favors to our low-level scattered raiders. This is still something to keep in mind in 2.8. With Xiao Yan's telling, it suddenly became a surprise. For the origin raiders, things that can be done by spending points must not be reluctant. And Yehei on the side also continued. And in one, that is, if you save some points and you are complacent, that's not okay. You have to remember that in the origin, no matter how many points you have, it is not enough. The knowledge of various systems, listening to powerful sermons, buying cultivation supplies, buying various enchantments, enhancements, amplifications and other props, these are the basic cultivation skills. That's all, I don't know how many points it will cost. So, we can't let go of any channel to earn points. Okay guys, but that's just the basics? It's a bit staggering. For a moment, I only felt that my purse had those points, and it seemed that I couldn't withstand a few clicks. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm Chasing Water in the Sky. Chapter 322. I feel a little bit of pain in my own points. But I still know how important things are. Well, I know, I'll pay attention to the official website of the Triple Alliance and the Han Empire. When the boss comes out, I go to participate in the event and get the event rewards. Then go to the Tower of Origin for retreat. Originally, I thought that I would get points for the event, get some good things, and get some good things for my parents, grandfather, little sister, and mink and little tiger. Now it seems. But it's a bit of putting the cart before the horse. It's better to strengthen yourself first, and there will naturally be an easier way to get those things. After all, time is points. Wasting time on retreat is a waste of points and a drag on your practice. Oh, I am moved, in fact, you still have some conditions to earn points. Don't forget, in your fate, Those ancestral talismans. That's a good thing. It's just that the level is too low. Ancestral talismans. I hadn't heard Xiao Yan and Xiao Dong talk about this, and several people looked at them suspiciously. Ahem, I just found out. Xiao Yan coughed lightly. It turned out that he had just done a real-time dynamic dungeon mission, so he saw his original fate. Let him also know why Xiao Yan takes such care of himself. 05. It turned out that in the original fate, the two of them became best friends. And both of them were selected into the origin, and they really had a lot of fate. As for the matter of the ancestral talisman, there is no need to hide it. After all, a Xiao Yan must know many things about himself after looking at his fate, after looking at the past, such as his ancestral treasures. The second is, this ancestral talisman will not be placed in Xiao Yan's eyes. His strange fire, that is worth not knowing. With his temperament, he will not be able to forcibly take these things, so he can rest assured. When they were moved to say the things about the 8 great ancestral talismans, everyone suddenly realized. However, it is no wonder that these two people are from the same universal infinity. One is carrying a strange fire, and the other is carrying an ancestral talisman. Moreover, because of this, both of them have a strong enemy in the end, which can be called. Well, dear brother? But use the ancestral talisman to earn points? It's like my fire. My alien fire alliance, what did it rely on when it first rose? The first pill, the second is the different fire, the third is the miscellaneous spirit plant demonic beasts, etc. The strange fire thing, the stronger I get, the stronger the different fire I control. There are all kinds of wonderful effects. It's much better than many great sun fires, earth center fires, and so on. Therefore, all walks of life in the heavens have different fire alliances from me, and they often buy different fires. Of course, in the past, my alien fire and elixir accounted for a large proportion of the transaction. But now, I'm in the alien fire alliance, infiltrating many worlds. The number of products has also increased. It's not that you just rely on alien fire and pills to earn points. Speaking of this, Zhang Hulan suddenly came to his senses. Xiao Yan, I said that I would send a few ice spirit clans over, why haven't you yet? Xiao Yan coughed lightly and looked at the movement. There's no way, in the turbulent fate, one of his wives is from the ice spirit clan. Later, if you want a mate of the ice spirit clan, just find his wife. I see. But wait. Why does Xiao Yan's words seem to contain any words that are extremely enviable? One of the wives? Zhang Hulan stared at it leisurely, making him only furry in his heart. I said, why are you two so similar? It turns out that you are both raccoon dogs. What is a raccoon dog called? Luo Feng and the others chuckled. Of course they understood Zhang Hulan's strong resentment. Moved this young man, and was teased like this, his face was also a little red. I can't help but think of not long ago, a few days before entering the source. The woman who had a skin-to-skin relationship with her, and the woman of the ice spirit clan in her fate. In the end, everything was beautiful. However, this time, it will not be allowed to suffer as much as it used to be. By the way, does anyone go to cut their hair? There is actually someone in the trading area who has opened a barber shop. What a genius. Who would have thought that a barber shop would be opened in this place? Zhang Hulan was hung for a few days, but she was still very well informed. He knew about someone opening a barber shop in the trading area. If you read a violent novel, go to Fila Novel Network. However, when you open a barber shop, does anyone really go to cut hair? I also know this. When I first came, I went to buy something and saw it on the way, and I also received a discount coupon for the opening of a new store. Yahei said with a smile. Not to mention, the barbershop business is not bad, it seems to be called a big bathing hair salon. The barber is a small young man named Achi. I just passed by and took a look. In addition to the barber, the shampoo girl seems to be a few sheep and wolves. It should be Sheep Village, and Wolf Castle came out to work. Well, Sheep Village and Wolf Castle came out to work. In other words, aren't you afraid that when you wash your hair, your scalp will be scratched by a wolf's paws? Wrong. Other people's shampoo girls have to be beautiful. Why don't you play according to the routine? Put a few lambs and wolves, what kind of new thing is it? Several people talked and laughed happily while eating and drinking. In the live broadcast room, Stark is leisurely waiting for the rabbit. Tsuneji is gambling on the exile fate card, looking at her today. The flowers and branches are trembling. Don't think about it, she must have lost a lot. The white boss is to open the box and strengthen the amplification equipment. It even strengthens the order taking. Extraordinary tier 10 equipment, 8 million points pack enhancement add 12. If you want to increase, 45 million packs add 12. Oh, and she can also dress up in a sky suit. Brother Xiao Yan, we're here to help Eraster get something. A soft voice suddenly came. I saw Susu pulling Xana and running over on her short legs. Good. Xiao Yan immediately agreed with a smile. Himself and Erastil, there is a flame of trading. He provides all kinds of fires, and he provides himself with flames with divine authority, or the power of existence, or the restless apostles. Give an item that looks like a small flame to Susu. Yahei on the side asked. Have you eaten? Do you want to eat something? 063. Susu was eyebrows and eyes, and said delicately. No, thank you, brother Yahei. Xana and I made an appointment with little fat man, demon boy, Gaia, Ale, Zoryana, brother Big Bone, sister Chainalu. Anyway, there are many people, let's go to the Skull Alliance together. There's going to be a big Skull Alliance barbecue party today. There is also a monster battle show, Ultraman vs Monster show. Don't you need special training today? Hearing Luo Feng's question, Xia Na and Susu's faces turned red. It seems that the news that they are often lazy has been known by others. Brother Luo Feng, we have already said hello to Erastil and sister Wilhelmina. Today we have been specially approved. Well, you too will be specially approved and will have a holiday. It's no wonder that Erastil has a headache. Watching the two little girls leave, several people smiled. That girl from Xanachan has been cultivated since she was a child to become a fire mist warrior. So, there is some resemblance to Wilhelmina, who raised her, cold, but kind-hearted. And Susu is also full of mysteries and stories. But the two of them, at best, are just two little girls. Once you've entered the origin, you're in real control of everything. Yahei sighed and said, maybe the people at his table are actually no different from Susu and Xia Na. But fortunately, I got to the roots. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 323. It's boring, these guys are too slow. Megatron and Tinder are here, and I've even sent them ultra high definition pictures. They didn't come too aggressively. Stark complained and continued to sit on the edge of the dam, watching the live stream. Sir, the miniature exploration terminal has found a location energy source in the solar system. After comparison, it is the same frequency of energy emitted as the spark source. It's supposed to be Bumblebee's companions, the Autobots. They're coming. Hearing Jarvis's message, Stark didn't move, just nodded. Well, that's fine, they go together, and it saves trouble. A while ago, on the Kyushu side, the portal technology of the Research Institute has been successfully tested and entered the stage of mass production. But in the development of portal technology, distance is always a limitation. If the distance is measured in light years, it is a big test for the portal. Although with the research, these problems will be broken through one by one. But if there is a new technology to join, of course, it is also a good thing for the origin. Cybertron's space bridge technology is a good choice. In the star field and universe where you are located, you can explore, develop, and use it at will. The next step is to truly move towards diversified development. However, the small population has always been their drawback. Forget it, it's none of my business. What I want most in Cybertron is the technology of the mecha core, plus the secret of the source of the fire. Stark muttered a few times, no longer paying attention to the outside world. Feel free to look at the live broadcast room in front of you and quietly wait for the arrival of the Transformers. And in the origin, there is a sudden miracle today. It was the infinite Tao that was intertwined, writing countless chapters in mid-air. These chapters are not spiritual practices. But every symbol, every word, seems to be a spiritual power. They are telling many living beings about Wan Dao Sen Luo, including everything. Is this going to be a welfare event? This phenomenon is naturally discovered in the origin, and it is clear that the origin is about to have something big happening. I'll go, as soon as I go out to run the Secret Realm mission, the origin will come with good things again. Stark looked at the live broadcast room and shouted, waiting for the Transformers who had been waiting for a long time, and muttered. This is also the voice of many people who are brushing the Secret Realm quest and have not yet had time to come back. Move, don't go to the boss first, let's see this new event first. Xiao Yan said to him, so that he would not be in a hurry to go to the Han Empire and the Three Kingdoms Alliance. At this moment, the attention of the raiders was attracted to the origin. Look at this posture, I'm afraid it's big news. I can't help but talk about it. Hongshu closed his eyes and quietly experienced. Today's many laws of origin appear to be more active. At the same time, everyone saw that on the side of the Tower of Origin, it seemed to be shining brightly. No, maybe not your average welfare event. It must have something to do with spiritual practice. There was a sound of speculation beside him, and Xiao Yan turned his head to look. It's the two hall masters of the wind and the clouds. Looking at the action of the Tower of Origin, it may really be related to cultivation as the Wind Hall Master said. Shouldn't it be, someone has achieved the monomer level? Zhang Hulan said weakly, but his words surprised others. Maybe that's really the case. You must know that in the present origin, except for those who are connected to foreign lands. If you read a violent novel, go to Filu Novel Network. Among the origin raiders, the strongest ones before were also in the realm of quasi-orders, such as the Supreme Mage. And after such a long time, among the natural origins, there are also many people who have reached the realm of quasi-orders. And those who have been known to have broken through to the monomer are only 4 people. That is the Ancient One, the Great Sage, the Eastern Emperor Tai and Zhang Zhenren who went to the superpower secret realm earlier, and are now still exploring the adventure on the side of the unpredictable technological universe. When they go, they are either already at the top of the transcendental, or they are at the realm of quasi-orders. Now, under the oppression of the powerful rules over there, he has broken through the realm hard, and from the oppression of the rules, he has penetrated the truth and achieved the monomer. For example, the great sage from the world of Wukong's legend has already broken through to the realm of golden immortals. And the supreme mage, the magic has become more and more profound, and he has already broken through the heavenly father level and achieved a single body. But when they broke through over there, there was no such phenomenon as today. If it is said that other raiders broke through to the monomer and caused this phenomenon, it seems a bit unreasonable. The crowd was talking nonsense, but none of them knew any of the information. I can only wait quietly, waiting for the source, whether there will be an announcement. And at this moment, I saw that in the Tower of Origin, a golden light burst out. Someone came out. It's so powerful, the the sword aura is swirling, and it makes people feel cold all over their bodies. Everyone hurriedly looked at it, and the golden sword that seemed to have pierced the sky had already disappeared into many Taoist principles. Kendo Master, who will it be? Great Qin Gaini, Wei Chuang. Or will the world be a sword saint, or will it be nameless? This kind of majesty, I seem to have felt it at Ximen blowing snow. All I think should be Ximen blowing snow. No, this kind of fluttering immortal feeling seems to be an immortal in the immortal realm, holding the authority of the sword, a bit like the meaning of flying immortals outside the sky of Yegukan, the lord of Bioun city. No, this Kendo powerhouse, he is still in the process of transformation. Hong Su's eyes flashed with bright light, and his spiritual thoughts were quickly afraid of collisions, blooming with the fire of wisdom, and comprehending the various sword intents emanating from that figure. Yes, that strong man is transforming, he seems to be experiencing the reincarnation of the sword, and he is a sword, going through all kinds of reincarnations. The sword intent is added, and then he washes all the lead and leaves his body alone. As a master of using a sword, Jian Chen also saw some mystery from it. After all, his master was unknown, but he was a Erhu. Phew, after all, he is nameless, and he is also a Kendo master, so his vision is naturally not bad. I know who this is. Zhang Hulan swore that he seemed to have seen through it. This process of transformation, Shanos, is like a mortal, starting from picking up a sword, and every age has comprehended the sword. And there is only one who has been resurrected from the river of time. The relative of the god of defeat, the sword demon is lonely and seeks defeat. As soon as Zhang Hulan's words fell, the golden Mang, who was covered by the principles of the Dao law, seemed to tremble unnaturally. It's only been a long time, and the sword demon is considered to be in the early stage, and he was resurrected by the Peach Blossom Island Lord and the Eastern Evil Senior. How quickly did you hit the realm of a single body? It's outrageous. Some people said in surprise, but some people didn't care, but said, hey, it's not outrageous at all, because the origin is definitely not the only one who impacts the monomer at this moment. Sure enough, as if this person had said it, there was another figure in the Tower of Origin, turning into divine light and submerging into the heavenly dome Dao Zhongxian. At the same time, the announcement of the heavens that everyone was waiting for also came as promised. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm Chasing Water in the Sky. Chapter 324. Announcement of the Origin Heavens. Tribulation, open the Origin Tribulation function. Detailed explanation of the tribulation. From the beginning of the practice, the raider starts from the transcendent first order, and the breakthrough of each level can choose whether to carry out the tribulation or not. Tribulation has all kinds of benefits, and it can sharpen itself. And every time you succeed in crossing the tribulation, you will leave an inscription on your own Origin Dao seal. After that, all the people who have crossed the tribulation, at the time of the tribulation, can choose independently, fight the Origin Dao seal left by others, and carry out self-sublimation. Reward, every time you cross the tribulation in the Origin, according to the battle with the Dao seal during the tribulation, you will get a variety of corresponding random rewards, and the rewards are rich. Please actively participate in the tribulation. Note, starting from the transcendent 10th order, when crossing the tribulation, if you choose to fight with the Dao seal, you will manifest the Origin Heavens. But only in the world connected by the raiders can it be revealed. And starting from a single body, the tribulation manifestation will be projected on the endless Hongmeng Heavens except for the Origin connection. Origin Welfare Campaign, Training in Individuals, Limited Time. Starting today at the Origin time, the Cultivation Super Welfare event will be launched, and the activity will continue until the Origin Anniversary celebration. During the duration of the event, Starting from the transcendent first order, every breakthrough and successful tribulation will receive additional benefits and rewards in addition to the tribulation rewards. At 720 during the tribulation, fighting with Daoyin will increase the quality and quantity of rewards. Origin function, origin activity. This time, the heavens announced several big news, and they were all related to cultivation. It's easy to understand. In many worlds, there are cultivators, and at a certain stage, they will experience various thunder and fire tribulations and so on. Now, this function has also been added to the source, but it is a voluntary choice, and it will not force the raider to carry out the robbery. But there is one thing to say, if you add to the calamity and get over, it will naturally be a great gain. And now, it spends many rewards. Well, I'm doomed to this catastrophe. Then the heavens were revealed. It is the manifestation of the circumstances of your passage through the tribulations in the heavens, and this is the manifestation of sainthood. Of course, you have to choose to fight the Deo seal in order to get the manifestation. However, if the first person crosses the catastrophe, what will happen? There is no Deo mark left by the predecessors. I don't know this, maybe I'll know it when we cross the tribulation. And in the end, sure enough, there was a welfare activity again. It is also related to spiritual practice. To be precise, it is related to the catastrophe and the Deo seal. Looking at this, situation, of course, it is the origin that is encouraging everyone, and the breakthrough is, choosing to cross the tribulation, and even choosing to fight with the Deo seal. It's finally started, hurry up. I've held it for so long, I don't make a breakthrough, I don't wipe the evil heavenly way. I'm waiting for this day, the boy who seeks defeat, and it really didn't disappoint me. It's not in vain that I had a lot of exchanges with him. Dugu defeating Tien was very excited, and finally waited for the arrival of a single powerhouse in the origin. In this way, in the origin, the raiders who will definitely open the single realm are invited. And at this moment, it is also the time to wait. Ha 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 ha. I don't want to be the only one, or a scattered force, to join the origin. I want the whole world to be invited to join the origin, to become a national power, and to have more authority. So that on the origin stage of the heavens and all worlds, we will also show and compete. For this, there must be a great war involving the whole world. No, isn't this the best opportunity to fight the sky? I've endured it too hard, it's so hard, read the violent novel, just go to the Fila Novel Network. I was afraid that I would be unhappy, or even sleepwalking, so I accidentally pinched the evil heavenly way to death. Now, it is finally time to see the moon and wait until this time. Dugu was so happy that he danced with his hands. Looking at this forbidden god arbiter, it seems to be laughing at himself. Red A. No, it should be red B, after all, he is not a bow rank this time, but a mad step. But it's still Emi Yashiro, who is known as Red A. Some of the memories that were blocked also appeared in the brain. That is about Dugu defeating the sky, starting the battle of cutting the sky, and introducing the raiders to cut the sky. In one fell swoop, it became a country-like force, leading many masters in the world to step into the stage of origin. And it should be soon, before the Genti anniversary celebration. No wonder the God of Heaven defeat is so happy. It seems that today's origin has updated the matter of the tribulation related to cultivation. And this is also a sign event that the monomer level began to appear in large numbers at the source. Thinking of this, Red Apala suddenly had a toothache, because he thought of the origin Deo seal. Special mothers, why is there so much origin BT? Why do you have to polish so well at every stage? Also known as the polar realm. You have a twisted braid. Also, your extreme state, there is no extreme, only a higher extreme, lying down. Haven't you guys thought about the feelings of the people behind you who crossed the catastrophe and challenged the Deo seal? One by one, In order to manifest the heavens, they did everything they could. Why do they like to pretend to be so much? Who is it that brought up this bad atmosphere? It should be recorded, but the relevant memories are blocked, but I can't remember it. I can only say that bananas are spicy. Depend on. Not to mention the excitement of Dooku's defeat, the complaint of the Red Palace. In the origin, it is natural that there is a lot of discussion. Especially for people with exotic linkage identities, there are a lot of speculations. Arsta, the monologue class has arrived, and it should be time for us to enter the origin. Hong Huang Jade Emperor, well, the heavenly court immortals, from the golden immortal and the golden immortal below, are all ready to enter the origin. Haha, I intercepted the sect members, and the Jinn immortals and the Jinn immortals are also ready. However, Senior UN Master, can you hurry up and let me wait for Delugo and enter the origin too? Yuanzi of Honghuang Town, Tongtian Sage, the predecessor of the UN Lord, is afraid that after our high-level entry, many origin raiders will slack off the secret realm strategy and have no sense of crisis. Virus, the god of destruction, ha ha ha, Uncle Ben is finally about to enter the origin, Master Abe's restaurant, I must eat for 3 years after I enter. Grand Priest, you can't eat the Overlord meal, or Brother Digu, ahem, after all, I am an incomplete primordial god, I think I am weak. So I should be able to enter the origin. Why can't the little fat man's invitation be used for me? It's just annoying. Demon subduing Rula, Corpse Immortal Emperor, when I came into contact with the origin, I calculated it, but now I am extraordinary, but I haven't joined the origin yet, it's even more annoying, I want to eat the big pork chops of the starry sky wild boar every day. In the exotic linkage message group, there is a lot of trouble at the moment. And at the source, everyone is still carefully looking at the rules of this announcement, and when it is explained. In the heavenly vault, there are many visions. This is the catastrophe, and it is about to begin. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 325. Tragedy. It is no stranger to many practitioners. After all, cultivation is an act against the heavens, and birth, old age, sickness, and death are the normal state of living beings. Even some gods in most worlds can't withstand the path of life and death. Not to mention the lifespan of human beings, at most, it is only about 100 years. Therefore, cultivation must be accompanied by all kinds of calamities, and if you are not careful, you will never recover, your soul will be scattered, and even reincarnation are delusions. But for those who have joined the origin, this calamity is nothing. However, today's announcement of the heavens did not expect that there would be a function of crossing the tribulation. And in front of him, the figure that everyone guessed had already appeared. It's really a lonely defeat. I saw that his beard and hair were all open, like thousands of sword chi fluttering, and the whole person was sharp, as if a sharp sword was out of its sheath. People with low cultivation will feel a stinging pain in their souls when they look at him directly, but fortunately, this is the origin, and they will not be harmed. Therefore, such a strong person will definitely be able to get a lot of inspiration from it. Especially for a group of sword cultivators, for them, this is a feast. It's coming. Hong 11's mental thoughts became active, shielding everything around him, and watching Dooku seek defeat fixedly. I saw that the words and symbols intertwined by the laws and principles suddenly writhed in the long river of paintings. When everyone looks at it again, what kind of symbols and words are there, and they are obviously people one by one. Those people are all in the general situation of raiders, and they don't look strange, they are just ordinary human beings. But they all have one thing in common, and that is that they all carry a sword on their bodies. It's like the sword cultivators of the origin raiders, even if they have a space magic weapon, they won't put their own sword weapon into it. Instead, they carry their swords with them, either holding or carrying them behind their backs. These are all sword cultivation that the law of the Tao is based on. Suddenly, those sword cultivators saw Tugu seeking defeat. There was a boom and an explosion resounded through the sky. Between the ups and downs, there seemed to be only infinite sword chi left in the sky. Hey, hey, don't get in the way, you're still so focused on watching a catastrophe. Little fat man, hurry up, Susu and they have been urging them to grow old for a long time. The demon boy carried a jar and took a few sips as he urged. He didn't have much thought about the catastrophe. And, speaking of which, he was still a little disgusted with the catastrophe or something. Maybe it's because of my own heavenly tribulation curse, but fortunately, it's now gone. Let's go, I went to the wilderness and caught a few game. Little fat man number 10 kept a few small things that seemed to be doll-like. This is a low-profile version of the fairy rope, a few big wilderness monsters tied up. One of them, who seemed to be an ancient relic with the blood of a fierce beast, flapped its wings and struggled. I also prepared a new variety of Biohive for Zana, which is even more delicious with pineapple buns. And Susu, I prepared a great wilderness nine-tailed demon fox for her, which must be a great supplement for her. And Sister Shifei, I gave her a daypen, let Uncle Tianpeng help domesticate it, and it can be used as a mount. Just thank her for giving me a thank you gift from the Pokemon. Hearing Ten's muttering words, the magic boy was a little surprised. Good guy, you have this and that for your sister. You don't have me as a good brother in your eyes. I saw that the demon boy suddenly walked to the front in a huff and didn't look back. Ten had no idea what was going on. With the sound of gold and iron in the sky bursting with swords, he just glanced at it and ran quickly towards the demon boy. Why are you in such a hurry? I also hit you with a purple chiao. Have you figured out how to eat it? Hearing this, the corners of the demon boy's mouth rose slightly, but he paused. Humph, of course, it's skewered and eaten whole, and then smeared with some sweetness and cream from the Snake King's flower garden, that taste. Everyone else is watching the catastrophe, and instead of learning it in a hurry, you study what to eat? Watched the two little babies disappear and teleport to the Skeleton Alliance. Zhang Hulan muttered, thinking of the game on the 10th day, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. However, at this moment, the bright sword in the sky slowly disappeared, leaving Dugu, who was in rags, standing in mid-air. If you read a violent novel, go to Filu Novel Network. Sword Demon, this is a successful tribulation. Hong Kigong clapped his hands, looking very happy. 7 princes, it's not your advanced monomer. Also, Daddy said that you are addicted to food from all walks of life, and you can't help yourself. In one place in Kyushu, I stayed for a year in a row and ate the same food, and I didn't leave. Thus wasting the progress of the repair. Listening to Huangrong's chatter, Hong Kigong laughed and didn't defend himself, just waved his hand and said. What do you little girl know? I'm not far from the catastrophe. Let's make a bet. Huangrong's eyes rolled, and she looked at Hong Kigong and nodded. Kigong, what kind of bet? Hong Kigong saw Huangrong ask like this, for fear that she would regret it, so he hurriedly said. Aren't you a daily blind box? You have opened a dimensional world, and inside is a food island surrounded by the sea. We're going to bet on your island. When Huangrong heard this, of course she knew that Hong Kigong must have paid attention to this gourmet island, and Hong Kigong continued. As long as I, Hong Kigong, break through the monomer before the anniversary celebration, this island dimensional world will be mine. That's not good, you have to go through the origin tribulation, and you have to. Before Huangrong finished speaking, Hong Kigong hurriedly interrupted and said. It's okay to have the origin tribulation, but to fight with Dayan, this can't be packed. Huangrong thought about it, and forget it. Okay, let's not talk about that, let's go to the Skeleton Alliance first, Just now I saw that the little fat man and the demon boy have gone over there. That little guy's beast is really good, but it's still not as good as my wine. Huangrong and Hong Kigong had just left, and there was an immediate change in mid-air. Dugu succeeded in seeking defeat, but did not leave, but chose to continue. What is it to continue? Fighting Dayan, of course. But you were the first to cross the catastrophe, and no one engraved the Dao seal. Fight with whom? The next moment, the mystery was revealed. Dugu's Dao seal of seeking defeat and fighting is his own success in crossing the catastrophe and engraved the Dao seal. It is said that the most difficult thing to defeat is yourself. After all, only you know yourself best. And in front of him, Dugu's defeat was already the time of the catastrophe, and he was injured a lot. But the seal was intact. Everyone couldn't help but wipe their sweat for him. And when Dugu sought defeat and his own Dao seal, he fought to the deep space. Another figure in the picture scroll of the Taoist rules also appeared. It's the otaku girl of the Ninja World Alliance, Atsuki Kagayahime. Under. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 326. Hey, the momentum of the catastrophe, so small. Yahei pouted and said. Monolithic. This is the emperor of his own world, and he is also a strong man who understands his own swordsmanship. If you put it in your own world and break through to the great emperor, that power, that movement, is directly to suppress the entire universe. Even the laws and providence of the entire universe must be cut down and achieved supremely. Available here. Oh, this is the origin. The emperor can't do it if he wants to break the space, he can't crush a stone, or the flowers and plants on the side of the road. So, that's it? Moreover, the monomer level, in the origin heavens, is actually nothing. It can be said that he has just reached the threshold of being able to explore the heavens alone. But fight the Dao seal, and there is also a chance to manifest the saint. That's true. Among the national forces such as Kyushu, the 440 Ninja Alliance, the Three Kingdoms, and Great Qin. Even among the Han who had just joined, there was a picture of Dugu seeking defeat and fighting against his own Dao Yin. And in these places, that power really blooms. It's just a projection of the manifestation. That powerful force can spread throughout the universe. This is the sword demon Dugu seeking defeat, from Peach Blossom Island, and he is fighting against his own Dao Yin. The people of Kyushu, when they appeared and came out, looked at each other in unison. Is this the official apparition that has just been announced? Hey, haven't you noticed other places? Don't talk about manifestation, just say that the power of the sword demon, the single universe level, can destroy the existence of the universe with the power of individuals. Terrifying. If you yearn for it, just move, don't lie down all day, get up and punch, and go to the secret realm to fight zombies. That's right, a year, a decade, 100 years. Even in 10,000 years, one day, we will be able to practice to that point. I'll go, you've lived so long. Do you want to practice the devouring system, break through the apprenticeship, achieve the planetary level, and live a lot, and then learn other things? It's okay. Hey, why didn't I think of it? Don't say it. I'll go back to school to read the textbooks of the devouring system. And in the Ninja Alliance, the ninjas are also extremely happy. I didn't expect that since I opened the front road in the ninja world, Kaguya-sama would be able to step into the single level so quickly. I think Lord Pillar, Madara-sama, and the 6 Dao Immortals should also break through. That's for sure. My ninja realm is in the heavens, and I will never lag behind other realms. And the forces of other kingdoms are also paying attention to this first tribulation, the Dao seal and the manifestation of the sainthood. Among the great Qin, Zhao Gao changed a glass of spiritual wine for Emperor Qin, took the melons and fruits brought by the maid, and put them in front of Emperor Qin's table. Emperor Qin, on the other hand, watched with several live broadcast and video windows open. Many of the source news on my Dakin official website must be released in a timely manner, so as not to cause panic among the people. Emperor Qin said leisurely. Not far from the compartment, Fusu, who handled official business for Emperor Qin, said loudly. Father, the news of the manifestation was placed on the official website of Dakin early, and the Ministry of Information sent a text message to the whole people, you can rest assured. Emperor Qin nodded, but listened to Fusu continue. Father, the moon god has sent a report that after exploring the surrounding areas of the solar system, hundreds of galaxies have been selected that can be used to fill the solar system where my great Qin is located. But Urchin feels that it is really unnecessary for my great Qin to engage in these developments and expand the galaxy where great Qin is located. It's better to encourage the people to have more children. Our population is too small. Hearing Fusu's words, Emperor Qin said while watching the video. The people are not stallions, and the current fertility rate is the limit of the people. If you read a violent novel, go to Filu Novel Network. There is no need to urge the people more, so as not to be dissatisfied and complain about our great Qin court. And the galaxy is not engaged in face-saving engineering development. It's me who discussed with the princes the materials needed to build the starry sky array. You don't have to pay attention to this, and when you go to court the day after tomorrow, you will discuss this matter with the ministers. After speaking, seeing that Fusu was not asking anything, he looked at the video and the live broadcast room. Ha 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 ha, Emperor Han, you have accessed the origin early and appeared with this majesty, don't frighten your people. In the video, it was Emperor Ming who was shouting. It's okay, they have to get used to it, and it's okay to stimulate it directly. Moreover, this can also allow me to face and experience the power of the strong cultivators. I also want them to develop the ambition to be the ancestor of God. When Emperor Han spoke, he hugged his fists and thanked Queen Ma next to Emperor Ming in the video, and said, "These days, my queen is tired of your sister-in-law, you have given me more advice. When my Han is stable, I will set up a reincarnation, and I will thank you." "You're welcome, Emperor Han, Sister Wei is very good, and she works extremely hard to learn, and I will definitely teach you a lot of what I have learned." Listening to Queen Ma's words, she dared to love the two countries for their wife's diplomacy. "Hey, the new world of pirates is the Yellow Ape and the Warring States. I didn't see your boss Whitebeard, he is also in retreat, ready to break through." Emperor Qin noticed this and said suspiciously. His words also made others notice. "Your Majesty Emperor Qin, in my new world, Whitebeard, Hawkeye and others are all in retreat, as for whether it will break through so soon, I don't know." Warring States said with a smile, but they still have confidence in the breakthrough of Whitebeard and others. "It seems that after today, the manifestation will also become a sight in the heavens." "In the Triple Alliance," Liu Bei said softly. "That's right, after all, for the manifestation heavens, this kind of face showing, I don't think everyone should let it go. The great elder of Kyushu, one sentence will point out the origin of many people, the heart that loves to pretend." All of a sudden, a few people laughed. "By the way, everyone has to pay attention, after today, it should soon be ushered in, and the transcendent origin of those powerful worlds is coming. For example, the disciples of the 3.5 saints of the flood desolation, or the immortals, Buddhas, gods and demons of other universes. And connecting many worlds also means that we have more markets. You will also see more cultivation systems, strange beings and transcendent species." The words of the great elder of Kyushu were naturally listened to by these leaders or emperors. But they also know that after this, the competition for the origin will become more intense. There is also the battle of the secret realm. For example, what kind of traverser, reincarnation, abyss? These, perhaps, will also begin to be deeply contacted. However, don't panic, those who are mixed in the origin heavens are really not afraid of those. Of course, for example, the Han Triple Alliance is more eager to develop itself quickly. However, they also know that this is not in a hurry. You can only take your time. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 327. It's so hilarious. Stark looked at the live broadcast of the origin, and today I don't know if they have all discussed it. Make an appointment to advance together today and cross the calamity. Following Dooku's defeat, there is also a large barrel of wood Kagaya. From the Tower of Origin, several more figures jumped out, submerged into the Deo rule, and made the final preparations for the catastrophe. And look at the borders, send out messages and talk about the apparitions. Stark thought thoughtfully. Isn't this just a free advertisement for the heavens? I can't miss this opportunity. When the time comes, when I am apparition, I will shout in my voice, and in an instant, I will beat the signboard of my Stark Industries to the heavens. I have to say, it was Stark who had an idea. However, with his lazy attitude towards cultivation, he was afraid that he didn't know when the tribulation manifestation would be. Therefore, this matter is just his idea. If he really wants to implement it, let's wait for him to focus on cultivation when he will talk about it. Hey, after the sword demon defeated his own Deo seal, the manifestation was not over yet. 05 Instead, he entered his preaching. In other words, it is the source that provides us with a professional news venue. Watched the sword demon clean up himself, and then began to tell his kendo experience. In particular, information such as his breakthrough, crossing, and Dayan battles made many raiders listen attentively. Sir, detect 2 waves of Transformers energy fluctuations. One fell from above, and one came from the south. Hearing Jarvis's words, Tucker immediately prepared. He didn't want to waste time here, he had to get back to his roots. Watching others appear in the tribulation, as the Iron Man Stark who likes to show his face the most. For this kind of showmanship, of course, it is a direct call in his heart. There are not many connected heavens now, and the manifestation is wasted. In a little while, when the heavens are connected, and that is the time for me to manifest myself. I, Stark Industries, will definitely be an instant hit by that time. Well, it's not that I, Stark, am not good at cultivating, but that this rich man is far-sighted. Giving his own attitude towards cultivation and removing the label of laziness, Stark nodded, and he successfully deceived himself. At the same time, above the sky, Stark looked up and could see the Autobot members falling from the sky. It was Bumblebee's companions, the Bopai Transformers led by Optimus Prime, who came. And it seems that when he fell, he felt the familiar fluctuations of energy below. It is the source of the fire that was placed in the secret base of this dam by the Mi army, and the energy fluctuations emitted by you. Moreover, in mid-air, a helicopter gunship of the Mi army also flew quickly. But at a glance, the helicopter was unmanned, but empty. This is the whirlwind of the Decepticons. Finally, they're all here, and they're all coming together, so it's okay to keep me from trouble. Jarvis, you take the nano worms, take a few bundles of fairy ropes, go in and bring out the Tinder Source and Megatron. Yes, sir. Jarvis's voice fell, and a liquid like pitch-black mercury flowed around him. But if you zoom in, you can see that it is a myriad of nano punches piled up, seeped into the dam, and invaded the secret base. And the next moment, the gunship may be hot-tempered. In the distance, a few missiles burst in. Of course, it wasn't Stark's fight. The target of the whirlwind is a secret base under this dam. This way of greeting is not very friendly. Stark muttered, and a tiny ionic lightning bolt radiated from him in a ring-like structure. In an instant, the incoming missile fell straight down as if it had been misfired. When it fell into the ground, there were no explosions either. Human. Stark was wearing a suit, the colors of red and gold, and the ion fluctuations that he had deliberately erupted just now. If you read a violent novel, go to Feel a Novel Network. So it instantly attracted the attention of the whirlwind. Buzz buzz. The whirlwind clicked and transformed directly. And in mid-air, there was a heavy buzzing sound. It was a supersonic fighter of the Mi army. And remember that in the information, this transformer should be called Red Spider. Whirlwind, what's going on? Don't waste time, hurry up, the Autobots are coming. The fireball that was getting closer and closer overhead was obviously completely on the ground, and it would only take a few minutes at most. So, taking this opportunity, it's best to rescue Megatron first. After all, the Autobots' Optimus Prime is not easy to mess with, and without Megatron, they can't deal with Optimus Prime. This human blocked my missile. Whirlwind muttered, but in the eyes of the Red Spider, was it a joke? Stop talking nonsense, Whirlwind, hurry up. After the Red Spider finished speaking, his supersonic fighter jet also fired several missiles in a row. And that's not all. A main battle tank also fired artillery fire at the dam. But alas! Stark just casually pinched a device in his hand, firing a wave of pale blue ions. Those missiles were all silent, and they fell to the ground in an instant. See, that's it, that's it. I'll be like that just now. Whirlwind argued about this, and defended himself a little, lest they give Megatron a small report that they didn't do anything to save him. Waste, just a human, can't you trample him to death with your body? Hearing the Red Spider's shout, 240 Whirlwind didn't answer, and his huge body ran straight towards Stark. But before the Whirlwind could run in front of the human, he saw the ant-like human throwing out a rope. Human beings are human beings, do you think that a rope can tie me to a whirlwind? Human, are you being funny? Ha 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 ha. The whirlwind laughed and headed straight for the human. But suddenly, I saw that the rope that had been thrown by the human suddenly stretched. Then it instantly turned into a white light and tied him up. Ha ha ha, a rope weapon that can be tied automatically. But if you want to tie me up in the whirlwind, then you will think wrong. Huh. The whirlwind suddenly took shape, and his huge body was tied by the immortal rope, and he was frozen straight in place, unable to move. Even he could feel that his consciousness had been detached from his body, and he could no longer control his own body, and he couldn't even speak. What the hell is this? Whirlwind roared loudly in his heart, but unfortunately the Red Spider who came with him, Noisy, and other Decepticon members, didn't know this. Whirlwind, what are you doing? The Red Spider fell from the sky, instantly transformed, and roared at the same time. But what came was not a whirlwind response, but another low-profile version of the rope that tied immortals. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm Chasing Water in the Sky. Chapter 328. Bang. Several concussions in a row exploded a crater on the ground. At the same time, the sound of gold and iron came, and the four transformers suddenly transformed in unison. It's Optimus Prime, Iron Skin, Ambulance and Jazz of the Autobots. When they were in the sky, they sensed the energy fluctuations of the fire source. Also saw the Decepticons in action. Apparently, the Decepticons have found this place as well. The Bumblebee released a beacon to attract them to land here, and it must be that the Bumblebee can't stop these Decepticons. But what is the situation now? The members of the Decepticons, why are they all standing there, lined up in a row, motionless? Even the Bumblebees are here. Well, Stark released the Bumblebee he had collected earlier, as well as the barricades. And Stark, a leisurely man in a steel suit, was naturally noticed by Optimus Prime. "Don't talk, wait a little longer." Before Optimus Prime could speak, Stark immediately stopped and spoke. "Hey, human." Optimus Prime stopped, but the ambulance next to him spoke. But as soon as the words came out, a white flash turned into a rope, and he was also tied firmly. Then, like the Decepticons, and the Bumblebee, they couldn't speak, they couldn't move. I said, "Wait a minute, then be obedient, alien." Well, Cybertrons, to be exact. This human, he actually knows Cybertron? Moreover, what kind of technology did he have just now, and he was able to control a transformer in an instant? And look at the Decepticons who have been tied up, as well as the Bumblebee and the ambulance just now. After they were tied up, they couldn't even transform themselves. What kind of technology is this? And what did he want us to wait for? Jazz seemed to be tired of Stark's threat and wanted to speak and ask, but was immediately stopped by Optimus Prime. And Stark said, "Wait a minute, it's just a minute." But a minute or two. From the crack in the ground, a pool of liquid flowed, which was the nanobot. They converged on Stark's suit and turned into a tiny mark. And two small talismans appeared in Stark's hand at the same time. Stark didn't talk nonsense, and shook the two talismans in one fell swoop. Suddenly, Megatron appeared here, and there was a metal cube hovering in front of Stark's eyes. "Megatron, Tinder Source." Seeing this, Optimus Prime couldn't help but shout in shock. "Human, can you give me the Tinder Source? I must destroy the source of the fire." If the Tinder Source is used by the Decepticons, they can use the Tinder Source to radiate the entire Earth. Turn all the electronic metals on the Earth into members of the Decepticons. When the time comes, not only the Earth, but also the universe will be in danger. Well, another cliché story. Aliens want to rule the universe, what are you doing on Earth? The technology here is backward, and the planet's resources are not developed. Galaxies like this, not to mention the universe. I don't know how many of them are in the Milky Way alone. With you aliens, do you like to find the Earth to come to ho-ho? For example, the secret world that was included in the Kingdom of Kyushu. It seems to be called the Sea Fortress Secret Realm. That's right, aliens have invaded Earth. Really, I can't figure out these alien brain circuits. If you look at the Predator clan, their attitude towards the Earth is just as a testing ground, and the rest is ignored. To rule the Earth, after all, it can be said that there is no use for fart. Hey, if you read a violent novel, you can go to Philo Novel Network. Stark muttered in his heart, holding the Tinder Source in his hand. Optimus Prime glanced at him, then put away the source of the fire. The main goal of the secret realm this time is done, and next, it's time to talk to the Transformers about Cybertron. Perhaps, helping them rebuild Cybertron is also a good option? No matter how bad it is, it's best to get Cybertron's coordinates. If you can get Cybertron's technology directly, that's fine. If not, then don't blame us for taking it ourselves. Of course, this is a last resort and an unnecessary measure. At present, it is still mainly based on exchange and cooperation. After all, it is the original tradition. Don't be human, humans shout. My name is Stark, or I'm Iron Man. Don't worry, the source of the fire is in my hands, and there will be no other changes. Stark's words, Optimus Prime chose to believe. After all, I didn't see Megatron all cleaned up. Moreover, this human being is definitely different from other humans. The information that Bumblebee gave himself did not say that any human had this kind of power that could imprison Transformers at will. Therefore, it is not clear whether the human being in front of him is a human being. Perhaps, it could be a mechanical life. It's just that why the head is on top of a human flesh and blood head, it's not clear. boy. Stark didn't know that the Optimus Prime in front of him had already defined him in his heart, and he had become a human being. Mr. Stark, you must have something to talk to us about, Mr. Stark. Optimus Prime, as the leader of the Autobots, saw the current scene. Of course, I know that Stark in front of me must be looking for something with them. This man knew the origin of his Transformers and knew Cybertron. Knowing the source of the fire, he also gathered the Decepticons and Autobots together. Isn't there something to find them? Is it to ask them to play mahjong? It's impossible to think about. Well, talking to smart people is refreshing. I'm here to represent the Origin Heavens Academy. Invite you Autobots, and the Decepticons, to join us with your Cybertron. Origin Heavenly Research Institute. What is it? Without waiting for Optimus Prime to ask, Stark continued. I can tell you one thing first, and that is that we can help you Transformers and rebuild Cybertron. You can even let the Bo faction and the Mad faction have their own territories. However, you, Zhao Dihao, must all abide by some of our agreements. Well, let's find a place to have a good exchange together. Stark finished speaking, and the whole space flashed. All the Transformers present entered his side-by-side world with Stark. I don't know if their communication is going well or not. Regardless of the process, though. But I believe that the result will always be as Stark and those professors in the Institute wanted. And during this period, the tribulations and manifestations in the Origin also began one after another. Whenever a raider appears to the saint after a battle and preaching, the apparition of the next raider begins. And at the same time, the Ancient One mage who was far away in the Chaoi secret realm is finally back today. The raiders who are concerned about this finally have a chance to get a glimpse of the two-way foil. This kind of weapon that can destroy the universe, can be mass-produced, and is cheap and affordable. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm Chasing Water in the Sky. Chapter 329. The Great Sage, Zhang Jinren, and the Eastern Emperor Tai, they have all gone to the Tower of Origin to consolidate their cultivation and apply for a tribulation. As for the two-way foil, Gu paused and shook his head. This kind of weapon, for the universe, is too damaging, and the price is low. We have now been rewarded with a full manufacturing process. And the most critical materials for manufacturing. Snow wave paper and obsidian. Snow wave paper we have already got the tree seed. And obsidian, in the secret realm of the Origin, in the secret realm of the dungeon, can also be produced in large quantities. However, you need to refine and synthesize obsidian. The Ancient One told the two-way foil thing in a bland way. She wasn't very interested in that. With her power, even if she can flatten a single universe, flatten the dimensionality, or create a universe, it is no longer a problem. Well, I know what Supreme Mage means. The use of this thing will definitely only be used under control, not in the universe at will. Thus harming our universe. The Great Elder of Kyushu also heard a little bit of the Ancient Master's words, which contained a trace of other meanings. The Great Elder is right, Supreme Mage, you can rest assured. Even after using the two-way foil, we will send people to recover the area that has been reduced to dimension, and then make up for the damage caused by the universe. It will not be 573 to let the dimensionality reduction blow of the two-way foil wreak havoc in those weak universes, without transcendental, high-tech universes. Emperor Ming also said aloud. After all, many raiders are not devils. If you don't have anything to do, you can put two-way foil everywhere. Just like Emperor Ming said. Even if the two-way foil is put in, it must be after the two-way foil has been cleaned up. It is also necessary to recycle the two-dimensional area. Then fill in the gaps in the universe. The big deal is that area, which has become an infinite darkness in the starry universe. If you don't look good, it's a big deal to move over to the galaxy or something. Don't talk about this, the two-way foil, put it in the past, it was a big killer. But for all of you now, it's just an ordinary means of cleaning up. After all, in terms of efficiency, the efficiency of two-way foil is far less than my thoughts. The lunatic master said in a deep voice. He had just come out of the research institute. In the past few days, the tragedy has not interfered with him in the research institute, sitting on scientific experiments. Now he is here to participate in this short meeting, also because he wants to get the two-way foil as a study. In his words, he said that the cleaning efficiency of the two-way foil is not as good as his, not to belittle the two-way foil. Rather, it is a statement of fact. The two-dimensional foil can only move at the speed of light, which is too slow. And his spiritual thoughts of worshipping the moon burst out from the depths of his soul and traveled in the universe, which was not limited by the speed of light. The thought covered a galaxy in an instant, making it sink upside down, and it was as easy as a snap of time. So this fact is not derogatory. If he looked down on the two-way foil, he wouldn't leave his cutting-edge lab. On the contrary, he still attaches great importance to the weapon of two-way foil. In that transcendent universe, the transcendent is suppressed to the extreme. And all kinds of scientific and technological means are also unpredictable, like immortals, but it is indeed a scientific and technological creation. For example, the two-way foil in front of you. And what we should consider should be the collision between technological creations and supernatural spells. The moon worship sect master's eyes shone with an inexplicable brilliance. Professor Bayu, do you have any research directions in the research institute? Or does Professor Bayu have a new research topic? The lunatic master seems to like to hear people call him a professor, an expert, or something like that. In this way, it will appear that he is very professional. If you read a violent novel, go to Philu Novel Network. But he is indeed a professional. After all, in order to make up for the knowledge of science and technology, and even a variety of heavenly knowledge, others buy time to practice in the Tower of Origin. He worships the moon and buys time to read in the source library. Those who can fight with the moon worship, and are willing to spend points to buy time to read. It's not a lot even if you buy time to study, most of it is to delve into secret methods, supernatural powers, and so on. Like the moon worship, even the care and production of sows, on the high-efficiency engine of tractors, etc., will also be watched and recorded. They even go to research. It seems that he now feels an infinite interest in everything, whether ordinary or mysterious. In the words of the moon, that is, I have endless time, and I am afraid that I will not have time to cultivate. But to the surprise of the teachers, professors, and experts of the Research Institute, Professor Bayu is a scientific research maniac. Even if you don't cultivate, even if you just feed the pigs, study the tractor, and engage in scientific research projects at will, his cultivation is also like a rocket, soaring upward. It was so stunned that even the wine-sword immortal was dumbfounded. Why don't I drink alcohol and increase my cultivation? That guy who worships the moon is a villain, a villain. Why is he engaged in research and studied ants, and he can improve his cultivation? I'm not convinced. But his unscrupulous apprentice Li Xiaoao said, "Oh, that's the foolish words of my master and his old man, you don't have to take it seriously." After all, Professor Bayu's research and invention have made long-term contributions to the world. I, Li Xiaoao, as the son-in-law, husband, and father of the descendants of the Nuwa people, expressed my strong support for Professor Bayu. Cut. As if you don't know, the speed at which you worships research and earns points is much more powerful than that of the drunkard of the wine-sword fairy. He drank the immortal wine brewed by all walks of life, and that point was not taught by the moon. You Li Xiaoao must be quite a moon worshipper. Thoughts swirl in your minds, and you hear the collision that the moon worships say. Professor Bio, is this your next research plan? Although Emperor Ming said that he had made up a lot of knowledge, although it was miscellaneous, he was not refined, so he didn't understand the words of the moon for a while, so he just said it casually. And the Han Emperor of the Han dynasty was thoughtful. He also took the time to come to the source today, and many official duties were handed over to the ministers. After all, no one dares to be a demon anymore now, unless that person really eats the bear's heart and leopard gall. Moreover, this two-way foil is also a great thing for him. Of course, he didn't want to miss it, and naturally he also wanted to learn about this thing for the first time. Maybe it's because in the past few days, I've been making up for all kinds of knowledge with evil flowers. Whether it is an extraordinary mystery test or an ultra-black technology test, there are all involved. A lot of information is still circling in his head all the time. So, I heard a little bit of Professor Bio's meaning, so I boldly guessed. Professor Bio, do you want to use technology to create supernatural powers? Strategy for the All Heavens Dungeon, starting from the Biohive. Author, I'm chasing water in the sky. Chapter 330. Damn, who knew there was such deep water in here? What universe emperor, Yuan Shitianzun? In other words, you are under the banner of Yuan Shitianzun, but you are actually a transformer-type life. Be careful of the primordial saint of the flood wilderness, I came to sue you for infringement. Stark grumbled, scratching his cheeks. It's not a big deal, but it's always a little troublesome. Before coming, the information given by the secret realm was just some basic information. For example, Megatron and Optimus Prime around the source of the fire, or a few of their members. How can I talk in detail about the background of the powerful race in Cybertron, or even behind this universe? In your own portable dimensional world, tune in well. After a good in-depth communication with these transformers, even the unruly and other Megatrons are obedient. Therefore, we have reason to believe that their communication should be successful, meaningful, and indispensable. In other words, after learning many things, Stark, who is a human being, can't help but complain. This Megatron is hell-bent on rebuilding Cybertron and restoring the power of the Transformers. But a group of people led by Optimus Prime fought with their own compatriots for the sake of the Earthlings. What's the matter? Your family will give you a peace prize. No, the Supreme Mages are back. Thor, that guy hasn't given me any news in the past few days, he must be at the Skull Alliance, and he is drunk, and he doesn't know where his home is. I don't know how prepared that guy is, Loki. In other words, as soon as the mage comes home, the Earth will be hooked. Probably not, there are Laowan at home, there are professors, and Odin is watching, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Stark muttered, looking at Megatron and Optimus Prime, who were arguing over Cybertron. Forget it, let's get this over there first. There is an ancient mage in the family, and now there is a mage. Stark complained, and could only watch the live meeting of the Ancient One in the live broadcast room. Technology, to create supernatural powers? As soon as Emperor Han's words came out, the others were surprised, and then nodded. This idea may be really good. Haha, it's still the Han Emperor who understands me to worship the moon. Bayu nodded, it wasn't something to hide. I do, and I'm going to start with this two-way foil. Conduct more in-depth research. The two-way foil is a scientific and technological creation, and I still have a scroll of fairy treasure paintings. The two are the same way, both of which can flatten the external object, that is, two-dimensional. The truth, the rules, are almost the same. And after use, the process is different, but the result is the same. And my research direction is to study and create more purely technological creations that are similar to supernatural powers or magic weapons. In fact, there are a lot of scientific and technological creations mentioned by the moon worship now. but many of them are now very inconspicuous. For example, the gene medicine comparable to the pill, the thousands of miles of sound and the mobile phone. But if you really want to talk about powerful technological creations, which can be compared to supernatural magic weapons, relatively distinct items. The portal counts as one, and this time the two-way foil must also count as one. It's just a short meeting. Therefore, after just opening for a while and letting the Supreme Mage tell about some of the super dangerous secret realms, everyone left separately. Emperor Han was still very happy. When I went back, I was given an energy binding field. What is bound here is naturally the two-way foil. Holding the arm-sized cylinder of the bondage field, he looked at the 3 pieces of tissue paper that were bound by blue energy. I felt excited, I felt incredible, but I was still a little scared. After all, this is a two-way foil. Those who say that this is ordinary naturally have his confidence, that is, cultivation is strong. It can resist at will with itself, and destroy this dimensionality reduction strike. Alternatively, there are also raiders who are extremely fast, can be faster than the speed of light, and escape the dimensionality reduction blow. If you read a violent novel, go to Fila Novel Network. But Emperor Han, these don't account for anything at all. Therefore, holding this kind of big killer weapon in your hand is still a little weak. He is not like De Ming and De Qin. Even if the two-way foil is expanded, there are strong people who can distort time and space and destroy the dimensionality reduction attack of the two-way foil. Your Majesty, is this what you call a two-way foil? Wei Qing looked at the thing on the table, a little far away. Glancing at Wei Qing's appearance, Emperor Han muttered. Even I have personally touched it, but your general doesn't dare to touch it? How can I be the only one who is frightened by this? Therefore, Emperor Han immediately said with a smile. That's right, it's a big killer. Well, the general quickly take a good look in his hand, take a good look, and after that, this two-way foil will be handed over to your military department. Wei Qing was still happy when he heard Emperor Han's words. But then it occurred to me that this thing needed to be held in my own hands. In other words, whoever takes this thing will panic. But I have to take it? Wei Qing's face changed, painful and happy. Huh? Why don't you take it yet? Could it be that you are afraid of the general? Forget it, if you're afraid, find an attendant to help you carry it. Don't, Your Majesty, take it yourself, take it yourself. Where does Wei Qing dare to let others touch this, unless he and others have the ability to counteract this kind of big killing weapon at any time? Otherwise, in their own world, these big killer weapons will definitely not be touched by non-origin raiders. Wei Qing cautiously left with the cylinder of the bondage field in his hand. Emperor Han also threw himself into his busy work. As the emperor of the Han dynasty, these days are much busier than before. After all, with the help of all worlds, there are all kinds of new benefits. Dominate the universe, that is naturally effortless. So, at the same time, there was a lot of natural stuff going on. Fortunately, all walks of life have corresponding mature methods for dealing with this kind of thing. The people who came to help the court officials of the Han Emperor, sorted out these official affairs, and the entire court official system. Their experience is even more unquestionable. After all, they had just withdrawn from the Triple Alliance. Immediately invested in the construction of the Han Empire, which can be regarded as a seamless connection. And what they do, in fact, is much the same, but there is no problem. Those who come to do this are also professional students from schools from all walks of life, or official reservists trained by all walks of life. After all, with the increase of territory, it is necessary for someone to manage it. Cultivating more reserves and putting them away, or going to the New World countries to help, can be regarded as adding a lot of experience. Mouth.